Daf Yomi, Tractate, Bava, Batra, page 55b. Nun Hayamud Beis with the words V'derech Harabim on the top. V'derech Harabim v'derech Yachid U'shvil Harabim U'shvil Yachid Akavua Bein Bimos Achama or Bein Bimos Hagishamim. And a public road that is at least 16 cubits wide, and a private road that is 4 cubits wide, and a public trail, and a permanent private trail that is used whether in the summer or in the rainy season. Rav Asi and Ravin disagree with regard to whether Rabbi Yochanan held that a boundary or a sea squill also serves to subdivide a field for the purpose of peah. Tuma mahi. The Gemara further clarifies what is the halacha of ritual impurity that is affected by determining whether an area is 1 or 2 fields. T'tnana nichnas levika bimos hageshamim v'tuma basadeh plonis yamar halachti l'makom halaz ve'en yodea im nichnasti le'oso makom ve'im lav. Rabbi Eliezer mitaher ve'chachamim mitamim. We learned the Mishnah in Tohorot 6:5 with regard to one who enters into a valley during the rainy season, when people generally do not enter this area, and therefore, for the purposes of halacha, it is considered private domain. And there is a principle that in a case of uncertainty concerning whether one contracted ritual impurity in a private domain, he is ritually impure, and there was ritual impurity in such and such a field. He said, I know, I walked that place, meaning I walked that valley, but I do not know whether I entered that place, whether the ritual impurity was or whether I did not enter. Rabbi Eliezer deems him pure, and the rabbis deem him impure. Shehaya Rabbi Eliezer Omer Safek Bia Tahor Safek Maga Tuma Tameh. Rabbi Eliezer deems him pure. Eliezer would say, concerning uncertainty with regard to entry, in other words, he's uncertain whether he entered the area, whether the ritual impurity is located, he is ritually pure. But if he certainly entered the area where the ritual impurity is located, and the uncertainty with regard to contact with ritual impurity, he is ritually impure. Okay, so if he entered, he wasn't sure if he entered, it's one thing, but if he wasn't sure if he contacted, then he is impure. It is with regard to this halacha that Ravin said, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, that a boundary or a sea squill defines these fields as distinct areas. Avol Shabbos Lo. The Gemara infers though that even Ravin holds that a boundary or sea squill serves as a barrier only with regard to peah, and ritual impurity, but with regard to the halachot of Shabbat, they do not serve as a barrier between fields. Rava Amar, a field in Shabbos. Rava says that they serve as a barrier between fields, even with regard to the matter of Shabbat. As it is taught, in Tanya, we learn the Braise, Hotzi chassid groigeres reshus harabim v'nicho, because v'roitzi chassid groigeres acheres, v'herem echad chayev. V'shnei halamois potter. As it is taught in Braita with regard to one who carried half of a dried fig from a private domain into the public domain and placed it there, and then returned and carried out another half of a dried fig. If it was done with one lapse of awareness, in other words, if he did not remember in the interim that this act is prohibited or that it was Shabbat, the two acts are considered as one. And since the two items together equal the size of a dried fig, he is liable to bring a sin offering. But if it was done within 2 lapses of awareness, in other words, after he carried out the first half of a dried fig, he remembered that this act is prohibited. or that it was Shabbat, but he subsequently forgot again and carried out the second half of the drug kick. He's exempt. Rav Yossi Omer, Behelam Echad, the Bryce continues, Rav Yossi says if it was done within one lapse of consciousness,